So many stars set to shine bright. We are all set for the opening match in Pool 3 at the 2019 Volleyball Nations League. And what a way to get underway in Katowice. The top two volleyball nations in the world, two three-time Olympic gold medalists, two multiple-time world champions or World Cup winners, and two multiple-time gold medalists in the forerunner of this competition, the World League. Brazil looking for payback over the USA for defeat in last year's bronze medal match as well. And not particularly the way they would want to start, with a serve straight into the net. The first US serve will be to Aniga. And that one out of bounds on this near side, so the USA take the first 2 points. Remember, the Americans already qualified for the final 6. And they can play looking ahead to that showpiece event already without the pressure that comes with qualification in the preliminary round. What a big hit that was. The captain leaving his mark and leading by example. Taylor Sander with a sizzler. And there you go, Brazil finally on the board. Stopped the rot early on. Lucas Sackkamp, their captain, trying to haul them back into contention in the early exchanges. Also a player for Funvik Taubaté, the new Brazilian champions. A huge hit back to the back corner from Kyle Enzing. They're set all the way across to the far side, and Enzing with pinpoint precision. Brazil looking to answer back across court. Didn't find a piece of the line though. And they haven't settled yet, the Brazilians. Douglas Souza off the mark. The USA have won 5 of the first 6 points. Sander to serve. Plenty of power behind it as well. Recovered by Fernando. And off the fingertips of an American blocker for a Brazilian point for Wallace. Last season's Nations League top scorer is up and running. Found a way to fire past the triple block. A huge pipe hit from Douglas, right down the centre. He had one off the mark a few moments ago. That one found its spot, and with plenty of power behind it. The first back-to-back points for Brazil. Tandem attack, and that will roll over and drop for Kyle Enzing. Fake on the big hit and the roll shot over the top of the double block. Second point for Enzing. Mitchell Stahl to serve. How about the power from Lucas? Unstoppable from the captain. The tallest player on the Brazilian roster. 2 meters 9, and he elevated so high above the net to hammer it down. The USA are orchestrating those tandem attacks so well, so effectively early on here as they take a 3-point lead again. Tuaniga getting all of his hitters involved. Brazil answer back with a tandem attack of their own. This time coming in on this near side was Lucarelli for his first score. The snapshot catches Brazil off guard from Jeffrey Jendrick. The USA reached the first technical timeout of the first match here in Poland with a 3-point lead, 8-5.
Duas situações de quebrada, uma na saída, uma na entrada, que os caras vieram para melar o jogo. Defesa solta. Agora, mesma situação aí na empurrada, tá? Então vão ficar enfrentando a gente. Se der quebrada ali, vai na frente do postinho, bem na frente dele. Essa largada aqui eu acho que ficou meio limite pra ele. Bora, bora, bora.
USA looking to go the distance in this competition and win it on home soil in Chicago in July. And what a way to test themselves in the opening match of what for them is just a run of fixtures to get ready for that big event in Illinois. Oh, that's a USA point. They all stopped and waited. It looked as though the serve was out of bounds, but let's have a look. It certainly finds a spot on the baseline from DeFalco. And there's another one just beyond the baseline in the same spot this time. Ricardo Lucarelli to serve for Brazil. The third biggest spike and block reaches on the Brazilian roster. Plenty of elevation to deliver the serve, but it comes right back at Brazil with interest from Enzing. He's been superb from the start, Kyle Enzing. His third point already. Off the fingertips of the blockers, the hit from Douglas. Brazil just trying to make sure the USA can't open up any significant breathing room in this opening set. Beyond the backcourt covering defense from Jeffrey Jendrick. A quick hit again. Didn't quite catch the sideline though. Mitchell Stahl. It's going to be a Brazilian point to close the gap to 2. Isaac Santos will remain on serve. 108 points for him in this competition last year, Brazil's third top scorer. And that one out of the reach of Isaac in the backcourt. And his run on serve will come to an end. Tuaniga, the American setter, to serve next. Oh, to the baseline, just beyond it though. Tuaniga is looking around perhaps for a little help. He believes it caught the baseline. And they may well get that help from the video technology. The USA are challenging the call. Let's have a look. Did this find a piece of the baseline or not? Tuaniga thought so. The official thought no. And the official was right. Looks can be deceiving with the pace that the balls get hit at. I thought it might have been in. In truth, wasn't even close. And that one was certainly in, no doubts about it, from DeFalco. It's 3 points for him already. Looking to take on the extra responsibility on this John Spurall roster. The fourth top scorer for the USA last year, the top 3 scorers from the USA's team in the 2018 Nations League not involved on this roster. Hit down the centre, stopped in the backcourt. Brazil will set this time off the fingertips of the blockers, was it? Yes, it was. Lucarelli with another score. And Brazil back within touching distance for the first time in a long time. You get the sense that coach Marcelo Frankowiak's team have just been clinging in. And now they're making their move. Tuaniga setting right on top of the net. Very difficult to stop. The reception of the serve was perfect to help it back to Tuaniga, who was stood with his shoulder almost touching the net. Couldn't have been in a more perfect position. And that's an example of how a serve reception can go wrong. That time, instead of putting it right on top of the net, it was over the top of the net, and a gift for the USA. And Enzing took it for his 4th point, more than anyone else on court so far.
Tô aqui no bloqueio para subir mais, entendeu? Não estão tirando nada, entendeu? Não estão angulando, beleza? Ei, tem que ser pouquinho mais agressivo. A partir do momento que a gente foi pouquinho mais agressivo no saque, a gente está tocando, fazendo contra-ataque. Joga mais solto, galera, entra no jogo. Vamos, vamos, vai, bora!
I think Brazil have only ever failed to reach the podium in 2 of their last 12 appearances at world-level major competitions. And one of those was this tournament last year. The team that denied them the podium finish was the USA. They will be desperate for payback here. At the moment, the USA are passing the test again. That was a huge hit from the far side from Wallace, his 3rd point. For the drop serve, and it was really well recovered by the libero Tales. That provided the foundation for that Brazilian point. Tuaniga's back set and squeezed down the line by Kyle Enzing, who's on fire. 5 for the number 5 early on. He's got a 3rd of the USA's points. Forced it through the Lucarelli block attempt. Precision over power. Serve is well wide of the mark down the line though from Enzing. His red top run comes to an end with that error. It's the turn of Wallace. The fourth best server in the preliminary round last year. USA able to deal with it initially. For now, they'll set again. And off the block, out of bounds, a point for DeFalco. USA up by 3 at the second technical timeout. They are holding off the challenge of Brazil for now. The serve reception of Eric Shoji. And the USA got a couple of bites at it. First stop by Fernando. And then eventually put away off the set from Tuaniga. And the power from DeFalco. Clear touch off the left hand of the blocker. Brazil, the most successful nation in the predecessor to this tournament, the World League. 9 gold medals. Italy just behind them with 8, and then there's a big drop-off to Russia, who've got 3. And of course, won the Nations League last year as well. Both the USA and France have won 2. It's the USA who have the edge as we come on to the final stretch of the first set and the opening match of this Nations League tournament for these two teams. Lucarelli stopped in the backcourt by Sander, but too much on it, and Brazil closed the gap to 2. Lucarelli to serve. One of the less experienced players on this Brazil team. And that one got a touch. Did it off the blockers? No, it didn't. Sander hitting from the far side was just far too long. Back-to-back Brazilian points off the back of that technical timeout. Can they now get level? The power of Lucarelli's serve really well dealt with. Kept alive by the libero. There's Sander again. Almost the waterfall inside of the block. They're able to help it back up again. And straight into the double block of the USA, which deflects it out of bounds, and Brazil have tied level. They're making their push at just the right time here in the first set. What a stop that was, the pancake move from Maike. The 21-year-old libero, the youngest player in this Brazilian squad, setting them on their way to a tying point.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it again. If it connected well, it's a good set. We can do it again. I just say we haven't run that much, you know, but if it connected well, let's do it. Okay?
Keep battling right now.
Yeah.
Inside out.
Here we go.
The USA calling the timeout, 16-16. 3 straight Brazil points after the technical timeout. Now the USA looking to turn the tide back in their favor. Lucarelli remains on serve, looking to keep this run going. DeFalco did well to help it back to Tuaniga. The backcourt hit from Enzing. Brazil will come back at the USA, saved over on the far side. And that one's too long. Brazil have the lead, their 4th point without reply. Body language changing from those in American red and blue. Brazil have their chins held high right now. Again, the backcourt hit from Enzing. Not too much power on it, nor the precision. Tuaniga across to the far side. They get a second chance, but the Brazilian block is right back against the American player. They are riding a real wave of momentum now. They lead by 2, 5 points in a row. Out of bounds off Sander. The double block in a good position, and a timeout called by the US again.
Big side out here, go back, get a reel. We're right here, okay? Just gotta keep pass. A couple passes just a little bit tighter than that, too, okay? All right, keep your head up, keep your head up. Go. 1, 2, 3. USA. Go, boy.
The Americans look so cool and confident up until that second technical timeout. Brazil have since stolen the momentum and are very much in the ascendancy right now. It is first to 25, by the way, if you're new to this sport. Best of 5 sets. If we go to a 5th and decisive set, that one is first to 15. First to 25 here in the first. Off balance, awkward backcourt hit. The USA should be able to get on top of the rally now, and it's drilled beautifully on the diagonal by Sander. Out of the reach of the libero, trying to get down to it in the backcourt. Maiki, who has got so well to a few already. So the USA half the deficit and have the serve back for the first time in a while. They make a change as well. Micah Maar coming on. That's squeezed through by Brazil. There's no momentum building for the USA. They lose the serve straight away. Brazil back ahead by 2. Down the seam of a triple block, which had hardly formed at all. Serve too long, so the USA back within 1 again. Need to protect their serve better this time. Micah Maar, who's just come on. Young setter out of UCLA. He's next on duty on the baseline. And he fires it straight into the net. The USA can't catch a break right now. He'll make the change right back as Maar goes to the bench, and Tuaniga comes on with some new instructions, I'm sure, from his coach. There he is with the back set. Disguised it really well to the backcourt hitter. Brazil dealing with it really well, though. Enzing didn't quite have it where he wanted it. Nor did Brazil that time, as Douglas helped it over. Tuaniga tandem attack down to the feet of the Brazilian player, Fernando, and he buries it. The USA back within 1. Close proximity tandem attack. Sander on serve after that big point. Can the USA get level now? They've blown their last 2 serves. What's the captain got up his sleeve? Chance for Brazil to set and to finish so swiftly. Deadly from Douglas. These two teams alternating points now at the moment. Neither can win a point on their own serve. And that will only benefit Brazil, who have the 2-point edge. Douglas Souza to serve. Tuaniga this time, putting it right on a plate for Mitchell Starls. Went for the tandem attack. It was the first option taken, though, with the on-hand set to Stahl. His turn to serve. Too long. It's 4 in a row for the USA now that they've not been able to get anything from. Haven't even come close to getting anything from. And Brazil are now only 3 points away from taking this first set. You get the feeling this is a huge point if they can open up a 3-point gap here as they make a change with Flavio Gualberto coming on. Out goes Lucas, the captain. Tuaniga, then the big pipe hit was big enough to explode into the backcourt. Sander's been striking them for the most part so well. 6 points for him to lead all scorers. Brazil will make another change here. There seems to be an injury concern for Fernando, the setter. Looks like some contact perhaps has been made with that left eye. The setters are the quarterbacks in this sport. They're the players that orchestrate the offense. Certainly needs to make sure that his vision is okay. It seems to be. Kyle Ensing to serve. Touched over the top of the double block. Ensing trying to save it, but nobody else could help him out as it dropped back down off the net. Brazil 2 points away. The set from Fernando, that eye looked fine. So too the tip from Lucarelli. And now he can see the finish line in sight in this first set. Will remain tight and tense, however. Serve drilled into the net. The USA another chance to tie here. Tori DeFalco to serve. 4 points already. One of them on serve. Brazil help it right back to the top of the net. Drilled by Isaac Santos. And unstoppable. With that kind of height and power, the serve reception was so good from Douglas. Could hardly have put it in a better position. The tip from Fernando. And Isaac there with the open goal of a hit. Set point Brazil. The USA need this point. A good chance for Tuaniga to set, but a wayward hit from Ensing. And Brazil bury the first blow in this heavyweight battle. They take the first set by 3 points. After the USA had had a few healthy leads heading into the second technical timeout, Brazil came out strong, had 5 points without reply, and wrestled momentum away from the Americans. USA 22, Brazil 25. Brazil coming from behind to take the first set in the first game of the tournament for these two, 22-25. You can see a couple more points off attack hits for the USA, but look at the points from opposition errors. Brazil with 10 of their 25 of errors of the USA, double the points off opposition errors that the Americans had. And the vast majority of those, you have to feel, or many of them, came off the back of that second technical timeout, where Brazil really came out swinging. Now they'll look to carry that momentum into the second set. Well supported here in Poland. The hosts of this pool, of course, are in action next on this court against Australia. Certainly plenty to enjoy in this venue. 3 of the top 4 ranked teams in men's volleyball in the world are in this group. We're watching the top 2, and they are ready to watch the reigning world champions, who are ranked 4th in the FIVB rankings at the moment. The other team, Australia, ranked in 16th. Brazil, quite incredibly, have been ranked 1st in the world rankings ever since the introduction of the new ranking system way back in 2006. That's a measure of their pedigree. The USA just behind them, and were just behind them in that first set as well. Started so positively, the Americans really looked to have the bit between their teeth. And Brazil went up to the next gear. Points from Wallace to lead the way for Brazil. 3 for Lucarelli, 3 for Douglas. The Americans led by 5 apiece from Sander and Enzing, but Enzing lost his way towards the end of the first set. Jendrik to serve at the start of the second. And to serve straight into the net. Only 1 point was served, was scored on serve rather, from both teams combined in that first set in terms of direct ace, and that was the one that just caught the line. Oh, a huge double block on the far side. Stahl getting his hands to it. Helped out by Tuaniga. They closed the gap so well here. Watertight. And no way through. An emphatic way for the USA to score in the second set for the first time. Stahl with the challenge against Lucas at the net that time. Then there's a duel on the far side as well, involving Enzing, who'll try and save it here, back over the net. The set right on top of the net for Brazil. And Wallace showing what he's all about. His 6th point of the game to lead all scorers, and that was as clinical as any other. Douglas to serve. Fernando's set, and there he is again, the man of the moment, Wallace. Back-to-back points for the man who led this tournament in scoring last year. Fired right against the block. It wasn't able to penetrate at all. Stahl's quick was hit. And that made it very difficult for the Brazilian blockers to get in position. Back-to-back points for the USA to get back level, although Brazil are going to challenge this call. They feel there was a touch along the way. It was well beyond the baseline, but was it touched by American fingertips? First challenge we've had here today for a block touch. Let's have a look. It's very close, isn't it? Does it just catch that middle finger? No, it doesn't. It was the left hand of Ensing the closest to it. And it was a perfect call from the official. 3-3. Big hit from Wallace again. A hat-trick of points already in the second set from Brazil's main marksman. He's got 3 of their 4 so far in set 2. And that time beating the triple block. Is there a touch on that one? Again, same position. Again, Brazil looking around for the right answers. They get the answer they want. A block touch called on that hit from Lucarelli. That was close again. The point has been given Brazil's way. No challenge from the USA. Falco gets them back in business. His 5th point. Front of the reach of Fernando. Past Wallace at the net. One number 8 beating another. Stoll's serve. Fernando set right on top of the net, off to Aniga's shoulder. They had to push it back over with that final touch, and it allows Brazil the chance to set. It allows Wallace to take control again. He is on fire here in set 2. Aniga didn't know too much about it. Sander did everything he could, so too DeFalco. Wallace back at them with interest. Past the libero. Aiki in the backcourt. Jendrik. Getting the running set to isolate him one-on-one with Isak at the net. Brazil have the edge though by 2 as that serve from Ensing goes straight into the net. 13th point that Brazil have won from USA errors. Three already here in set 2. Aniga got the tip and then provides the set for DeFalco. Fernando to the far side, all the way to the back corner, and it found it from Douglas. So Brazil, this time with the lead heading into the first technical timeout by 3 points. And how about the pinpoint precision of that hit from Douglas Souza?
One thing we can do a little bit better is scrap a little bit more defensively. We haven't been in great spots in area 2 and 5. Area 1 and 5, like you're on the sideline right there, like get in there, let's play some tough ball and get some scraps there. You know, if things aren't going very well because, I don't know, a little bit of connection or whatever because we're playing our first match, no big deal, but let's make up for it in other ways.
Dele aqui, que o moleque tá vindo pra jogar, entendeu? Você fica mais solto na defesa, beleza? Bora, galera, sube tudo!
Yeah, the American coach John Spurall talking there about the cohesion of his players playing in their first match. It's a rejigged, reshuffled roster to a certain extent, with a number of key players from last year's tournament not available here on the first weekend of this tournament. It is a chance to trial and error to a certain extent for the USA to find the right formula for the final six that they qualify for as hosts in Chicago in July. That was well orchestrated and well taken by Jeffrey Jendrick. Really good reception from Eric Shoji. Tuaniga had the set right on top of the net. Shoji, the 7th best receiver in last year's preliminary round. The USA not helping themselves on serve though. DeFalco into the net. Now it's the turn for Brazil of the very lengthy Isaac Santos. Too long though from a man who was the 7th best server in last year's preliminary round, averaged 0.25 aces per set. Right down the center with power from Lucarelli. Now Brazil thought they'd won the point, but the officials have given it initially to the US. I think, in fact, that decision has been changed. So Brazil back up by 3 as Lucarelli buries his 5th point. Tuaniga orchestrating the tandem attack. And Sander putting that one away. Tuaniga will take this serve now as the Americans look to close the gap here. Two Brazilians down on the deck. The USA a chance to set here for Stoll, and he put it away beautifully. Finesse over firepower that time. And now a chance to try and tie level. Josh Tuaniga, one of a number of very talented 22-year-olds on this USA roster. A number of them playing their college volleyball in California. Oh, the waterfall inside of the triple block that time for Brazil. The American blockers not able to penetrate the net enough to squeeze on top of it. They allowed that gap between the block and the net. And Brazil able to take full advantage of it. That just looked like a miss hit, and it was from Kyle Ensing. He's gone from hot to cold very quickly. Had 5 of the USA's first 15 points, if I remember rightly. He's not scored any of their last 14. As Brazil call a timeout, or the USA rather call a timeout, trailing by 3.
So I just took an early timeout. Hey, just keep scrapping. Right now, we're not putting enough pressure on from the service line and not defending enough even when we're putting it in, right? So just let's see if we can put a little bit more pressure on with the service line, okay? Let's defend a little bit better. A couple passes could be just a little bit better. Not like like you're making good contact. Some of them I'm thinking that we can get them up to the net just a little bit.
John Spurrow himself, the American head coach, won 2 college national championships as a middle blocker at UCLA. He's currently head coach there as well, which I suppose explains a number of his picks for this roster. Players he knows well, young talented players. And back in business is Enzing. His first point since the USA's 15th point of the first set. Sanders' serve beyond the baseline. Those service errors continue to come for the Americans. Plenty of options, and one of them was DeFalco. All of the attack hitters available that time for the USA. Tuaniga bypassing a couple of teammates to find DeFalco. Well, that's going to be an ace. Brazil left it, they let it go. And Mitchell Stahl left to celebrate. Finally, some joy for the USA on their serve. Stahl down the center, right onto the baseline. Brazil tried to step to the side of it. Stahl again, this time they deal with it. The blocker's there though, it's Enzing. He is very much back in business now. His 7th point, but his first on block. Only the 2nd block point that the USA have won through the match so far. Only the 3rd in the match for both teams combined. And always serves well to build momentum as they get back level. And Lucarelli shuts them down. What a way to slam the door in the face of that USA comeback. Brazil back ahead, but only just. Fernando's back set. Wallace down the line. Did he find the line? Yes, he did. Double figures for last year's top scorer already. Caught the little finger on the left hand of DeFalco. Whether it found the line or not was irrelevant. Wallace's serve. And returned quickly by Jendrik. The USA not letting Brazil get away. 5 points now for Jeffrey Jendrik. Kyle Enzing to serve. And how about the hit from Isak? Meters, 8 centimeters tall, elevating a few feet more over the top of the net. The technical timeout sees Brazil lead by 2. home, you can probably get a sense of the atmosphere that is building and building in this arena in Katowice, and that is because the Polish fans are filing in their droves now, ready for the second match of the day on this court, which will come in a couple of hours' time. We want to see the conclusion of this one, probably arriving after finishing work. And then it's Poland against Australia. That certainly caught a tip off one of the Americans at the net. Brazil by 3. Coach Marcelo Prokowiak happy. Really good stop in the backcourt, quick reactions from Maiki. That helped Brazil build, and there's that tip off Jendrik. A timeout called here.
Yeah, that's just a little bit more, so you have a little bit more room to cover, okay? All right, side out here. Let's go score real.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
USA.
Keep going, man. Keep going, boys.
And USA using their final timeout, trying to figure out the right route of recovery. Set in which they have spent the majority of behind. Not by much. Brazil have just been that little bit stronger ever since that second technical timeout of set 1. Backcourt attack buried by Sander. He leads all American scorers now with 7. He dug it out superbly in the first place and then elevated so quickly. Look at that. Perfect defense leading to perfect offense. Brazil answer right back with a big hit of their own. Douglas Souza. The line drive just inside of Enzing, who moved on to the sideline. Brazil by 3 again. Oh, quick thinking. Clever thinking from Tuaniga. Disguised the set and scored the point himself. Almost an acceptance of the challenge from Brazil. Okay, time for us to respond now. Oh, that stopped fantastically well by Thales Hoss. The USA come back and score though. Brazil just delaying the inevitable that time. Look at this save from Thales Hoss. They were short-handed from that point on though, and the triple block from the Americans was superb. Mitchell Stahl at the center of it to score.
Consegue também ficar com a pipe, tá? Para não perder a pipe nessa possibilidade. Tem mais, tá indo para cima do central nessa situação, pode ir um pouquinho mais para a base nessa, se tiver com dificuldade. Até a largada na frente do oposto para a gente rejogar essa bola, tá bom? Já deu para observar bastante agora a movimentação dele, é isso aí, observa bastante para ver se deu tempo, mas tem que estar a presença dele. Lucas, angulação, os caras estão reagindo o tempo inteiro agora, tá? No ataque.
This really is a fantastic setting for this pool in the Nations League 2019. It's a new arena, 11,500 capacity. It will be shaking when the host Poland are in action next, but there's a long way to go in this one. A really significant stage of this match for the USA though now. And that's not what they wanted. Brazil by 2. If Brazil go on and seal this second set, it is difficult to see an American comeback. Best of 5 sets, so it would leave the USA needing to win 3 straight. Blockers in position at the net, but not penetrating it enough. And the ricochet favouring the Americans. Tuaniga's serve to try and tie level. Fernando setting right on top of the net to Lucas. Brazil keeping the comeback at bay. Time for a captain serve from Taylor Sander to try and tie the US level. Oh, it's too long. And they can't take advantage of the misplaced Brazilian serve a few moments earlier. Brazil 4 points away from a 2-set lead. Lucas Sapkamp, the captain, to serve next. Down the line and in from Enzing. He found a gap on that sideline. Lucas just made the move, stepping into the middle slightly. Shifted his weight onto his right foot, and that was enough for Enzing to exploit the space. Problem on serve continues for the USA, though. It's been a theme of these opening 2 sets. Still making a change. Fernando's coming out, Alan's coming on. 25-year-old opposite spiker. Blockers in position, 3 of them sewn together on the far side of the net for the USA. How about this? It took all 3 as well, because it was the furthest part of that defensive wall to the right hand of Enzing that got the vital touch. Fernando back in with a message from his coach. Here he is. Tries the same quick thinking we saw from Tuaniga. Didn't come off, but Brazil still get the point through Lucarelli. Now they're just 2 points away. It's a crucial serve here at the end of the second set. Ricardo Lucarelli. The USA dig it out and set and score. Torrey DeFalco. The USA's second highest scorer. The number 8 now has 8. Micah Maher will come on to replace Tuaniga. That's setter for a moment. The USA could do with him being the super sub to get them level. Powerful serve from DeFalco. Past the triple block, stopped in the backcourt though. And into the net. The USA just falling short, despite that tremendous piece of defense from Eric Shoji. Out comes Isaac, and in comes Flavio for Brazil. A couple of set points for them. (22-25) was the score in the first set. Brazil looking to match that here in the second, and they do. And it just had to be him. Wallace de Souza with another to add to his tally as Brazil add to their lead. 2 sets to love over the USA. 25-22, 25-22 again. The 3-time and reigning Olympic champions led by the 12 points of Wallace. Marcelo from Koviaks, Brazil leading by 2 sets to love here over the USA. And the stats in that second set very similar to the first set. Errors costing the USA again, despite the USA having an extra point altogether off attack hits. They've only managed 10 points off errors of the Brazilians. Brazil have had 21 points, more than double, of errors of the Americans, and that continues to hurt the USA. And now they're left with little time to try to sort it out. Let's take a look at those stats. That is the set 2 stats. 2 more points off attack hits for the USA. Well, look at the opponent errors. Brazil with 10 points to the USA's 5. Many of those errors on serve. There's now a must-win 3rd set for the USA. A big performance so far from Brazil against a very talented American roster, especially after a slightly sluggish start. The men in yellow, they recovered when it mattered the most towards the end of the first set that had seen them trail for the vast majority. Off the back of the second technical timeout, they turned things around and they haven't looked back since. Fine margin in the second set as well, 25-22, the same score as the first set, but you always felt in the second set that they were going to get the job done. Will they get the entire job done in straight sets? That's the challenge now here in set 3 as they get ready to serve with Isaac Santos. Sander has been superb for the USA today. That's his 8th point. All of them off attack hits. Tuaniga's serve long. So Brazil on the board here in set 3. Fernando to serve for them. Plays his club volleyball for the Sada Cruzeiro side, who had their run of 5 straight Brazilian titles ended this season. And Sander firing right to the baseline where it was stopped by Lucarelli. He reloads. A fantastic rally, this one, finished off by the Brazilian captain Lucas. And what a way to finish it as well, so emphatically, from the tallest player on the Brazilian roster. Great backcourt defense from Maiki, the 21-year-old libero. Lucas put the exclamation mark on the rally. And Brazil lead by 3 points to 1, at least for now, because the USA perhaps thinking about challenging that call, and they are going to. You can see straight away the reaction of the American players was that they felt absolutely that should have been their point. The challenge is for a block touch. The USA need all the help they can get at the moment. They don't want to allow Brazil to build up a bit of a lead at the start of a set that they have to win. I get the sense if they can put their serve right in this 3rd set, then the USA can get that little bit extra that they need to match Brazil, maybe surpass them, and take this match to a set 4. It's a long wait to find out if they've won this point or not. It's a long wait for the Polish fans in this arena to see their team in action against Australia later, but what a way to whet the appetite with the top 2 men's nations in world volleyball going at it here to open the pool in Katowice. They're certainly taking their time with this call. It must be close. The US players were adamant that it got a touch from a Brazilian defender. Those kind of reactions are usually so telling. They look like a natural reaction rather than a forced one. Is there evidence of that touch, though, on the video? Let's have a look. And there was indeed a touch. The USA were right to feel aggrieved. 2-2 then. And Sander remains on serve. He keeps it alive in the backcourt as well. Helped over from an awkward position. Brazil able to set. Wallace. And down it comes inside of the block. Wasn't the best position for the hit from Wallace, but he still made it count. And it's 12 points for him now to lead all scorers in the match. He's off balance slightly. Still got it to stick. Enzing wasn't penetrating the net enough. All right, back over from Maiki. It should have allowed the USA to get on top of the rally, but they didn't take the opportunity. Tuaniga's back set. Look how well Lucas read it to get in front of the hit from Enzing. Absolutely telegraphed that one, the Brazilian captain. A serve from Brazil straight into the net. Mitchell Stahl to serve for the US, the middle blocker. He's got 2 kill blocks already, 5 points off attack hits as well, and another off serve. Not that time though. And it was too hot to handle for Sander. Lucas really making his presence felt right now. Six points for the captain of Brazil, who's on serve. DeFalco will go again. The tip this time, stopped by 2 Brazilians. Third time lucky, perhaps. Yes, it is for Tori DeFalco, who just kept on coming. 9 points for him now. The USA needed him to keep his concentration, to reload and to go again. And look at that, 113 kilometers per hour. Still had so much gas left in his tank. There's the Achilles heel for the US though. Enzing to serve into the net. DeFalco now tied level with Enzing as the Americans top scorer on 9. Sander just behind on 8. Enzing stopped by the Brazilian block. They shuffle into position on the far side, but it's fired past the double block by DeFalco. Double figures emphatically now for him. He's doing a good job of taking on that extra scoring responsibility. One of those California-based players who's only 22 years of age, Tori DeFalco. He can't continue to build momentum as he finds his serve wide of the mark. And Brazil giving the USA hope. Jendrik to serve now. Can he get this one right to delay the technical timeout? Well, they can set right on top of the net. Isak somehow kept alive in the backcourt by DeFalco, doing it on defense as well. And there's a fault at the net. What a piece of defense from Tori DeFalco. Just there, shifted his arms quickly to his left. The slow motion didn't really do it justice. But then the touch on the net to rub a bit of salt in the US wounds.
And considering, Josh, God, considering how crummy we're playing, it's 8-6, 2 sets, like, don't beat yourself up. Just get to the next point, control the next point. Don't get too upset about the last play. We gotta put a little more pressure on him. So don't worry about what happened before. Go up there and be aggressive from the service. We just gotta keep putting a little bit more pressure on. Touch the ball a little bit better. Here we go. Head up.
The USA started their Nations League campaign last year with 5 straight wins, including a 3-2 win in their opener against Argentina. Their first defeat of the tournament, though, came against Brazil. It may well be a similar story here, except that game against Brazil is coming right at the start of their campaign. Still got hope. Right across court, the slice from Sander got too much on it. Brazil lead by 3 now in the 3rd set. Sander not giving up hope just yet. There's a long way to go in this 3rd set. One captain drilling it against another. And that reaction tells the whole story. There's a reason those two are captains. They really do put everything on the line. How about that? A point for the USA on their serve. And there's not been many of those. And they're back within 1 here. Here goes Tuaniga again. Really good reception from Thales. DeFalco kept it alive, so too did Sander. Off the top of the block from Enzing. Wallace stopped by the triple block on the far side. They'll come to the near side now. Drilled by Douglas. Past Enzing. What a hit from the number 14. A Douglas dagger to the American heart. Over the top of the triple block, you can see Brazilian players at the net shaking their fingers to say absolutely no touch from us. And that was the call from the officials as well. So Brazil off that wayward hit beyond the baseline, lead by 3. Fernando retains his place on serve. Oh, what a way to stop the rot. A rifle of a right hand from DeFalco. The USA needed something special and they got it from their young gun. Tori DeFalco up to 12 points to lead the USA. And they're scrambling around. 3 of them ended up down on the deck. Point by point, Brazil edging their way closer and closer. That time a miscommunication on defense from the US. 2 players going for the same ball. Brazil give the USA a bit of a helping hand though. The gap close to 2 again. Really well left. Wasn't too far off. The man who ducked the USA, Mitchell Stahl, is now on serve. Against the double block from Lucarelli. Goes the other way this time. The block was trying to shift across and couldn't quick enough. Really good setting for Brazil to go one way and then the other and shift the defense around. Very quickly down and in from Jeffrey Jendrick. The on-hand set from Tuaniga. Loading the ammunition. Jendrick pulled the trigger. Lucarelli. They save it really well. DeFalco doing a good job. Enzing stopped in the backcourt by Brazil though. Lucarelli again across to the far side, gets the point. Brazil just keeping the USA at bay again. Every set has been so tight and so tense, so hotly contested, but Brazil won each of the first two by 3 points. They're leading by 3 in this one. And there's a big block for them on the far side. 3 players in position. It looks like Isaac got the final touch, although it's come at a cost for Fernando, who was there as well. Brazil leading by 4. But they may have lost a key player. Fernando, their leading setter, the linchpin of their team. Let's have a look. Fernando is to the right of that block. It's the way he lands. There was certainly no contact from the ball. It was just an awkward landing. May have jarred his knee. And there's some real concern being shown here by his teammates in particular. That would be a big blow for Brazil. May well be the end of the line, at least today, for Fernando. 23-year-old setter. Thiago Pontes Veloso is the backup. It was a really awkward landing. Straight away he went for that right leg with a grimace of pain etched on his face. So Brazil forced to make the change. And it's Thiago, who now has the job of trying to see Brazil through. Back set from Tuaniga, finish from Enzing, who ends up under the net as he hits double figures. And the USA look to hit Brazil where it hurts. Torrey DeFalco's serve. A good one too, dealt with by Lucarelli. Not too well though, he could only help it into the backcourt, and from there the set had to come from a long way back. It made the hit more difficult, and the USA with a couple of points to rub salt in the wounds of the injury for Brazil's Fernando. They're not done just yet. was in fact a touch on that hit from Lucarelli. So Brazil up by 4, coming back off the second technical timeout in this third set, leading by 2 sets to love. They won 8 of their first 9 matches at the Nations League last year, Brazil, but they lost 7 of their last 10. A rare finish off the podium. Win here over the second-ranked team in the world, the USA, would certainly give them a platform on which to build this year, but this one is far from finished. The USA certainly a little more optimistic now after that injury to Fernando, and they've taken 2 of the last 3 points. And they will take another one. Thiago, the man who replaced Fernando with the fault at the net. Scrambling across to try and get there. Collides with the net. Thiago's set. And the block to shut down Wallace. Brazil's top scorer stopped in his tracks. The USA within touching distance in a set they have to win. Wallace denied by Stahl. Douglas stopped as well. They'll go again here, Brazil. Thiago back to Douglas. Stop once more. Tipped over the top from Isaac. And the blocker's there for Brazil this time. Isaac stretching every centimetre of that 2 meters 8 frame and getting the left hand on it. A huge point for Brazil because momentum was shifting away from Marcelo Frankowiak's team. Did that only put a little dent in the USA's momentum, I wonder, as Isaac gives them serve straight back and gets them back within 1 to an eager to try and tie the Americans level. And a miscue. The set from Thiago looked good enough. It was Lucas who you would have really expected to put that one away. It's in danger of coming off the rails for Brazil since that injury. They'll call a timeout here.
Aproximação para recepção ali, entendeu? Não vamos deixar os caras entrar na nossa ineficiência, entendeu? A gente tem que manter o nível, galera. Estamos sacando legal. A variação em cima do Sander tá funcionando. Tá jogando com pouco composto do fundo, sabemos que é pra frente. Vamos, essa bola, vamos.
Well, Lucarelli has shown his talent, no doubt, here. One of 2 Brazilians to hit double figures, 10 points for him, only behind Wallace, who's got 12. Some of that firepower down the stretch of this third set. Otherwise, the USA are taking it to a 4th. And they get it. Right on cue, Ricardo Lucarelli. Point number 11 for him to nudge Brazil back ahead. And a set to settle Thiago as well, who'd struggled a little since coming in. Brazil are struggling on serve now, more so than they were earlier on. Taylor Sander unloading from the baseline that time. Although Brazil escaping with the point. This third set is even tighter than the first two. Couldn't be more tight now. Douglas Souza into the net. USA catching Brazil up a bit in points from opposition errors. We saw it was so heavily weighted in favour of the Brazilians in the first two sets. Lucarelli able to get it to stick. It's so pivotal, this point of the third set, because one way it could be a straight sets Brazil win. The other way, if the USA extend the match, they would have the wind in their sails. Brazil with their main setter injured. As De Falco adds to his impressive tally, 20-20. Wouldn't bet against a US comeback if they were able to win this one. De Falco has been superb today. That's his 13th point. The US making a change. Kyle Russell comes in. One of the biggest spike reaches in the US squad at 358 centimeters. Lucarelli again. You find it against the body of Russell to score. Lucarelli really coming up big in money time. 13 points for him now, ahead of Wallace as Brazil's leading scorer, and 3 of them coming in quick succession down the final stretch of this third set. Wallace with the big serve, finished off by Isaac Santos. The big 1-2 punch combination for Brazil to knock the USA back against the ropes. And now the Americans will call a timeout. Coach John Spurall needing to get a message across to his team. It's slipping away again.
Inside, all right? Make sure we're taking care of that. That's your responsibility. Everybody else take care of theirs. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Here we go, boys. On this side. Here, come on.
This is great preparation for both sets of players for the extra pressure, the crunch that they will feel. In the final 6, the USA we know will be there. Brazil, you would expect to be there as one of those top 6 teams from this preliminary round. Lucarelli off the top of the double block. USA a chance to set. Backcourt attack, big time one-on-one rejection from Isaac Santos. What a block from the man monster. It was a one-on-one attack for the US captain Sander, and Isaac shifting his arm across to the left, reading the direction of that spike and throwing it back in Sander's face. Just when you thought the tide really was going to turn, Brazil have found a way to settle themselves again. You have to give them great credit for that. They've come back off that injury for Fernando and weathered a bit of an American storm. Can't quite see the sunshine just yet. USA close the gap to 2. Brazil just 2 points away though. Tori DeFalco, the USA's top scorer today on serve. Oh, and what a serve as well, all the way back to the baseline. The USA with back-to-back points and back in touch, and how? Lucarelli got out the way. Might have been the best thing to do given the power of DeFalco.
Bem dirigido aqui, fica na sua. O cara da 6 pode proteger pouquinho. Ah, o jogador da 6 pode proteger. O Wallace tá na linha, estamos vindo pra cá. Beleza, maravilha, maravilha, tá? Ei, segura, tranquilidade, se estourar pra gente jogar. Tem uma situação do oposto alto aqui, como você fez antes, tá? Entrando com altura, bora, bora. Vai.
This really is crunch time now, particularly for the USA, but as I say, for Brazil too, because if the US take this set, you could see them mounting a real comeback. Scored the last 2 points to close a 3-point gap to 1. Right at the end of a third set, they have to win. Lucarelli this time deals with it. And he'll strike it as well over the top of the triple block, but long. It got a touch on the way though. A huge point for Brazil to give them 2 match points against the final 6 hosts, the USA. DeFalco digging it out so well, whacked by Russell. With power to the backcourt, the substitute keeping the USA in it. But what a great piece of defense from DeFalco beforehand. They are not out yet. The US flexing their muscle. No room for error though on the serve of Jeffrey Jendrick. Another match point for Brazil. The USA save the first, can they save the second? Douglas off the top of the block, kept alive, but not for too long. They've done it. Brazil get payback for last year's bronze medal match defeat to the USA. They do it in straight sets. The perfect start for them on a journey that they hope will take them all the way to Chicago, where they may well meet the USA again. It was tough through 3 very close, hard-fought sets, but Brazil have got the job done, winning each of them 25-22, 25-22, 25-23, despite losing their setter Fernando to injury in that third set. This was the final point. The USA saving the first of Brazil's 2 match points. They couldn't save this one though. Stahl up against the net, nobody there to help him out. And Brazil start with a win in the 2019 Volleyball Nations League. Their effort, their quality, really appreciated by this Polish crowd. (23-25) in the third set. Equal on attack, gets 3 more points on block though for Brazil. That wasn't there in the first 2 sets for them. So despite giving the US for the first time in the match more points off opponents' errors, they made up for it with their blocking ability. Let's have a look at the full match stats from the 3 sets combined. The US with 1 more point off attack hits. Blocks in the end was even at 5-5. The US actually doing better on serves, but had plenty of errors on
Congratulations, it was a great opening of this VNL edition, but 3-0, but it wasn't a very easy game. What was the key?
Yeah, 3-0, sometimes when you look, it seems easy, but the match was hard. Always against USA is a hard match, and we're very happy to be back. I'm very happy, especially to be back. I was 1 year ahead because I hurt in Achilles tendon, so I'm happy to be back, to start with the right foot. And tomorrow against Australia, we hope to play better and keep growing to the finals, if hope.
How to avoid many problems or something like that during the next game, during the match against Australia, which is unpredictable team?
Yeah, tonight we will start the Australian team. Right now, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow, but for sure the coach are doing the job right now. And tonight we will study to be ready to the match tomorrow. You're welcome.
Okay, thanks.